Pacific War Ghosts, my travels to the South Pacific battlefields of World War II. One of the lesser-known islands in the South Pacific, Ballalae measures roughly 1 square mile in area and is located on the westernmost end of the Solomon Islands chain. At the height of the Pacific War, the Imperial Japanese Navy landed a force on Ballalae with orders to construct an airfield. For this task, over 500 British prisoners of war were brought to work on its construction. Completed in early 1943, Ballalae was one of the airfields scheduled for inspection by the Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. Unfortunately for the Admiral, the Allies had learned of his plans, and American P-38 Lightnings flying out of Guadalcanal intercepted and shot down his Mitsubishi bomber over Bougainville, killing the Admiral. Following the Allied invasion of Bougainville, Ballalae Airfield was heavily bombed, forcing the Japanese Navy to fly any serviceable aircraft to other bases, leaving the remainder to the enveloping jungle. On a visit to Ballalae Island in 1980, the first aircraft I came across was this spectacular Mitsubishi G4M1 bomber, rearing up out of the jungle, festooned with ferns, moss, and splotches of lichen. Codenamed Betty by the Allies, this Mitsubishi bomber had lost its entire tail assembly due to the bombing, and was probably being used for spare parts. The heavily damaged tail section and rear door is visible in this photo. Surprisingly, this aircraft still retained a remarkably preserved red Hinomaru insignia, clearly visible under its port wing. Equally surprising were the remnants of rubber tires still clinging to its undercarriage. This aircraft's cockpit and fuselage had been stripped of all instruments and removable parts, probably by souvenir hunters drawn to this last undisturbed Pacific War airfield. In the jungle not far from the Mitsubishi bomber, I came across the wings and fuselage of this Aichi D-3A dive bomber, pictured here perched on its nose. Codenamed Val by the Allies, this type of aircraft played a major role in the 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Bypassed by the Allies, Ballalae Island remained in Japanese hands until November 1945, when Australian troops landing on the island discovered the full extent of the awful atrocities inflicted on the British prisoners of war by their Japanese guards. This poignant memorial on the island commemorates those that suffered and died during the construction of the airfield on Ballalae Island.